Have you ever felt like your biggest strength was also your biggest weakness? Like your heart is so big, it might just swallow you whole. Today, I want to share a story about that very thing. It's the story of Marina, and it might sound more familiar than you think. At 32, Marina landed her dream job. She became a psychologist at an NGO, helping women in vulnerable situations. This wasn't just a career for her, it was a calling. Marina was always that asterisk person, the friend who'd answer a call at 3 a.m., the daughter who'd drop everything for her family, the professional who simply could not say no. Her massive heart, her boundless empathy, was her superpower. At least, that's what everyone always told her. Then she met Julia. Julia was a single mother of 3, trying to escape an abusive relationship. In Julia's story, Marina saw a reflection of her own mother's struggles. That connection was immediate and powerful. So, Marina did something she wasn't supposed to do. She went beyond the professional protocols. She gave Julia her personal phone number just for emergencies. Soon, those emergencies started to blur. Seeing Julia struggle, Marina started helping with some of her bills. It's just until she gets back on her feet, Marina told herself. But Julia never seemed to find her footing. There was always a new crisis, a new fire to put out, and Marina was always the one holding the fire extinguisher. During supervision meetings, her coordinator tried to warn her. "Marina, you're taking on responsibilities that aren't yours," she'd say gently. "This isn't helping Julia, it's creating dependency." But Marina didn't listen. She felt she understood Julia in a way no one else could. How could she follow cold, impersonal rules when her empathy felt so real, so deep? Her other clients started to notice the special treatment Julia was getting, and they began asking for the same. How could Marina say no? Their stories were just as heartbreaking. Before she knew it, her small apartment had turned into a weekend support hub. Her phone buzzed and rang at all hours of the day and night. Her own life started to crumble. She stopped sleeping properly. Friends would invite her out, but she was always too busy, too drained. She even ended her relationship because her partner just didn't understand that these women needed her. At work, her colleagues grew resentful. Marina was constantly taking on extra cases, staying late, and making promises that the entire team was then expected to fulfill. In her mind, she was saving people. Why couldn't anyone else see that? But here's the crucial part. Julia wasn't getting any better. In fact, she was getting worse. She stopped showing up for appointments with other specialists at the NGO. "I only need Marina," she would tell them. She stopped looking for a job. Why would she, when Marina helps me when I need it? Without realizing it, Marina had built a beautiful golden cage for Julia, and she had become its keeper. The breaking point arrived on a completely ordinary Tuesday. Marina was in a session with another client when Julia burst in. In the middle of a full-blown crisis, demanding Marina's immediate attention. Apologizing to her client, Marina interrupted the session to deal with Julia's emergency. Later, she found out it wasn't an emergency at all. Julia was just bored and wanted some company. That night, alone in her apartment, the weight of it all came crashing down. Marina had her first panic attack. The world felt like it was closing in. She was exhausted, she was in debt, she was completely isolated. And the most devastating realization of all, the people she was trying so desperately to save weren't being saved. They were just becoming more and more dependent on her. That night, Julia called 8 times. And for the very first time, Marina let it ring. Following the panic attack, Marina took a leave of absence and started mandatory therapy. It was there she heard the words that both shattered her world and began to rebuild it. Her therapist looked at her and said, "You weren't helping, Marina. You were making yourself feel needed." There is a vast difference between empathy and emotional codependency. The therapist explained further. True empathy establishes boundaries. It says, "I see your pain, I understand it, and I will support you by giving you the tools to overcome it yourself." What you were doing was taking on their pain as your own and trying to solve it for them. That doesn't empower people. It robs them of their autonomy. It prevents them from growing. Suddenly, it all clicked. Marina saw the pattern woven throughout her entire life. As a child, she was the mediator in her parents' arguments. She was the one who took care of her younger siblings, shouldering responsibilities far beyond her years. Her entire identity, her sense of self-worth was built on being indispensable. But the truth is, people don't need a savior. They need support so they can learn to save themselves. 6 months later, Marina returned to work, but she wasn't the same person. She was different, wiser. She established clear, firm boundaries. She no longer gave out her personal number. She didn't take on financial burdens or emotional responsibilities that weren't hers to carry. She followed the protocols, not because they were cold, but because they were healthy. She started working with her team, not in spite of them. At first, Julia was furious. She felt abandoned. She called dozens of times, accusing Marina of being cruel. But with the entire professional team now holding the same healthy boundaries, something incredible began to happen. Julia started to stand on her own 2 feet. Slowly but surely, she got a job. She even went back to school. Marina discovered something truly liberating. She was helping more by helping less. She was more effective when she stopped doing for others what they had the strength to do for themselves. Her own life blossomed again. She reconnected with her friends. She started dating. She started sleeping through the night. And for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, she looked in the mirror and saw a whole person, not just a container for the pain of others. This story teaches us a powerful lesson. Empathy without boundaries isn't a virtue. It's self-destruction disguised as kindness. And what's worse, it robs other people of the dignity of their own journey, their own strength. Sometimes, the greatest, most compassionate help we can offer someone is to step back and allow them to fight their own battles, because it's only in that fight that they discover they are strong enough to win. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share this story with you. If it resonated, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories like this. Take care of yourselves and each other.